Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Futures Club podcast, where we come to chill and get our minds right. I am Judith Daniel, your host and owner of Juju Star Productions LLC, where we have an array of products designed to help and encourage and uplift and push you forward in life. If you want to know more, go ahead and click that link. But for now, sit back and enjoy the show.
I swear, you guys, I be waking up like, them, like when your little fur baby is over there asleep on his bed or her bed, and she start like kicking and like running in their sleep. Like that's what my mind does when I wake up, right? Like right out the gate. Um, and like all these situations, all these things start going through my mind of, ooh, that's good to know. That's good to talk about. Blah, 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 blah. So we are going to be on a rabbit hole today, and we just going to be taking left and right turns. Um, Shout out to the Super Bowl commercials. Yeah, that was fun. Almost got a lot of kids in trouble. I do want to say, Tubi, but I was like, that's what it is. Both their commercials were really good. And that's one of the best games that I've seen for Super Bowl in a while. Um, and it wasn't because anyone was bad. It was because they were both like real good. Um, and I'm a football person myself. I'm a Seahawk, you know. Um, diehard Seahawk here. So we're not going to be disrespectful. So I'm a football girl, but I think the last game that I saw that was like, ooh, besides, the Patriots cheating in the playoffs to get there and knocking us out, you know what I'm saying? Um, and then, well, I'm not going to go into all that and be negative about the other teams that, talked their big game. And then when they got to the table, they, you know what I'm saying, just didn't show up. So that's neither here nor there. I'm going to put on my sweet voice. Well, I don't know if I can have a sweet voice at this time of the morning. Yeah, today is just kind of like let's talk about this right now. Okay, let's switch to this. Like how my mind really works. So, you know, speaking of like not having a sweet voice, and I've been trying to drink, something warm right now, but it's like it's early, and I didn't wake up that long ago. Funny story. And I wasn't feeling well. And, when I come out of hibernation, take a minute to shake off the death fuel issues. Um, it's just a joke, y'all. Um, but, you know, it, uh, so I'm a military kid, right? So I've traveled a lot during my life, right? And, so the one thing I have is people in all different time zones, right? So I think I was in Wichita, Kansas. Shout out to the late Pastor Montgomery, who's amazing and will live on forever. Um, anyways, I'm gonna not stop there. We're gonna keep going. But I think my mom was, I don't know if she was in the Quad Cities or if she was in Cali. But whatever, she called me. And it was like, I don't know, maybe a decent hour her time, but it was super late or super early in the morning. Excuse me, my time. And she calls, right? And, I pick up the phone and I was like, hello. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. Is Judy there? Mom, it's me. Judy? And then, kind of, I was like, Mom. She's like, girl. So, needless to say, I'm a woman. I come with a womb and everything from birth. Um, but it's like, yeah, who we are, right? And it's okay. I'm okay with her. I'm good with how she operates. It's not always the most daintiest, like I said. The people in my family, military, right? Or just mean, you know what I'm saying? So, but I like the military side because they're more strategic with things. And we can get somewhere with that logic. Um, so shout out to all of the veterans. I know it's not Veterans Day, but yes, it is because you're a veteran today. Amen. So just like, you know what, my mind keeps going, and I get people so, okay, slow down. What are we talking about now? Like that's what they're like. Okay, wait, I thought we were just talking about. I'm gonna need y'all men to pick up and like, come on, get with it, let's go. Um, because a girl could keep up, and she's like, oh, and let me tell you, and then we start talking about something else. You know, what ends up, let's go to get our nails done. When we started about the school system, system. Yeah, she's still learning her words. That's okay. What else we gonna do while we're here besides learn? Um, so eh, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? This life just is whatever you're gonna make it. Uh, I play this game called The Sims, right? That's the only thing I really do besides poker and what else? And like pool or something like that, right? So when I'm playing that game, and I think the first one came out way back in early 2000 or something, and my brother had a PlayStation, but he wouldn't let me play it like a lot, like I wanted to. So I was like, all right. Um, but that had always been the game that I loved. That was always my go-to of choice. And then now they got all this new stuff that, my youngest son is like, um, you want to play Fortnite? You want to play Minecraft? You want to play da da da? But when I look at Minecraft, I'm like, is this an 80s game? Is this one of the original Super Mario type? Did it just keep going, or I don't understand why they made it that way. But it's neither here nor there because I don't play it. Um, but so I play The Sims, and I was like, ain't nobody trying to work all day. Where are these cheat codes at? You know what I mean? Heck yeah, I'm cheating. Let me have all the money, and then we can figure out everything else. So I always, I started with 1 million. Right now I'm down to about 890 because my house is fire. And so, I'm like, because I'm like, let's emulate whatever we do and pretend we gonna do in real life, right? Let me get these cheat codes. So, because I ain't about to do all this by myself. I can't. I don't want to, first of all. Secondly, how am I going to if I just got here? You know what I'm saying? A few years ago. And it's like, okay, so, Lord, what that mind do though? What, how we gonna do this, right? So I be cheating in this life too, just like I be cheating in my game. And guess what? I be making it without hurting anyone. Because when I play The Sims, I don't be beating nobody up like I see. I don't be letting my girl fight, right? I don't be like, having people come rob my house, right? There's no need. I'm not doing anything in the public that would make the robber want to come here. Which back in 2000, I don't know what I was doing. My house was catching on fire every day. There was people robbing me with his little black outfit on, and I couldn't really stop him until I learned how, oh, we need to get this alarm system, or we need to lock our doors. You know what I mean? But I learned, and now those things don't happen. Um, Or I guess, they upgraded the game or something, or maybe that's coming later. But it's like I asked for the cheat codes. Okay. Now, when I say I cheat in real life, let's cover that real quick for y'all start chopping it up and be like, this choice of word. That's how she getting it. Yes, actually. But here's the actual how. So I think we are in, or I am in my 22nd year with a full-blown relationship with the Lord, right? So at first he was just, pursuing me, and he was like, yo, I'm here if you need to talk. Yo, I love you. I know you be messing up, but we can work on it if you want to. Um, I mean, I could show you how to do that better because it look like you don't know what you're doing, but if you want to, right? Because he's not going to force you either way. So I like one day in Fresno, California. I went to this in like a conference, right? So, and we're there with a friend of mine because I think we got dropped off and then got picked up, or her mom was sitting somewhere else, but we were just sitting together. And I asked her, and this is 1999, right? Fresno, California, 1999. And I was like, so how do you do the Holy Spirit? Like, how do you do that stuff? Right? Let my ignorance be known, right? Because I'm like, grew up in the church, right? Pentecostal at that. And you know how they get down. And I'm like, well, where is this coming from? Like, how they be, why? And they be running, you know what I'm saying? And shouting, and then you hear this other kind of thing coming out of them. It's like, why they pretending like that? But is it a pretend? And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be saying they pretend if I don't know. So those are the conversations I'm having in my head. And I'm like, well, and I asked her, and I was like, how you do that? Or why, how that work? Like, what make you get that? Besides standing in a tarry room or in the room where you're tarrying and you're just saying, this repetitive thing until you just your tongue start messing up and then it sounds like something yeah. See, I don't do fake. You know what I'm saying? I don't do forced. But give me them cheat codes. So she said, I don't know. She said, but let's go get prayer. And when I went and got prayer, it was a whole thing for me. I was there in the physical. And it's gonna sound crazy, excuse me, but this is what was the anchor for me, right? Where I knew, oh, I could just be myself. I ain't gotta be like, yo, I am holier than thou. I got on my red bottoms today, so respect me. Nah, okay. I just never was her. Um, I'm a little too rough. I was a tomboy. Um, hmm, again, playing football on the side of the house. Um, so, and again, 1999, mind you, right? Um, a little backstory previously, 1996, um, still in California, not Fresno though, we were in Stockton. And in 1996, I was baptized. I was like, you know what? I want to do this with you. I want to try. You know what I mean? Let's see how this goes. I like what I'm hearing now. And it's not just a I'm forced to hear and do. It was like I want to. So baptized 1996, Stockton, California, at our family's church. And um, let me see. Then jumping back to 1999, we're at the conference. We're going up to get prayer, and I'm taken like that. I don't know how long I was standing there. I don't know what was coming out of my mouth. I don't know what was going on. All I know is that I saw a picture. My bad, y'all. Okay, I turned my volume off. I did not. But Fresno, California. And I saw, if I'm looking straight at you, right? And over my left shoulder, up high, I saw the Lord Jesus on the throne, right? And I saw him smiling at me. But again, remember, up high, up high. I wear glasses in normal life, right? Um, up high, right? 1996, right? Or I'm sorry, 1999, way back, right? Before I knew what was what. And he was happy, y'all. He was smiling at me. He was telling other people, come here, come here, come here. That's her, that's her. Look, 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 look. And he was proud of me right then and there. And he showed me he was proud of me, right? Before I started effing up for real. You know what I'm saying? Before anything really, I started living this life, right? Before all of that, you know what I mean? He showed me, yo, I love you. I've been waiting on you. I'm so proud of you. I knew you was gonna do it. And I'm telling everybody else to come here and look at you too. So that is my anchor of who he is and where our relationship started. It was with me taking an initial, well, no, 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 sorry, it did not start with me. It was with him doing all he did before I even got here. It was with my family putting it in my ear that there is someone bigger. There is someone that loves you unconditionally. There is someone that's down for you, right? And then me taking the initiative, the initiative. I want to get to know who he is. I want to get to know more. I want us to have a relationship. If he who we say he is, why wouldn't I want to be a part of that? Right? So then moving to him actually showing me that he's proud of me. You know what I'm saying? And those were my foundational tiers of the relationship. And then you know what? I grew up in the church. That was just sort of our what we gonna do. You know what I mean? Um, and then that's what we did. So growing up more and more in the church, and then I started seeing different things like, yo, but that ain't right, because that don't say what it say. And you're telling us something, but you're like it don't match. It don't match, you know. And it's like, but he's real. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of is like, okay, so what do we do now here? So then, because I'm inquisitive and I got a smart mouth, and I'm like, but why though? But why though? He starts showing me the whys. And he's like, yeah, you're right. Because I told him to do this. I put it in writing. I say it to him every day. I can do it in an audible voice. I can do it through their spirit. They, like their little stomach. That's why I sent the Holy Spirit. So they would have somebody to lead them in truth. They just don't want to listen to me. They want that green stuff, that money. But they don't understand that the faith puts the money in your hand, right? So faith will always be a higher form of currency than the dollar. We'll unpack that later. So it's like, oh, they're not doing things right. Deuces, right? Um, and it's not to say our breakup was anything bad. There was no arguing. There was no, begging me to stay. There was no, you ain't, you know what I'm saying? None of that went down, right? It was just a clear, oh, I want a relationship, but I want a relationship though. I, we can leave these traditions, right? Because that's not doing nothing for me. That's doing something for you. So There we go with that, right? But, you can't really say those things out loud. Why though? If you've been in the church or you know the church, you know why though. Um, but there comes a point where you got to be making a decision, be like, well, okay, am I just gonna follow tradition stuff that he didn't really say, but he kind of said, but he didn't say it like that? Or am I going to get to know him and have a relationship and be stable in everything so then I don't have to worry about anything and I can be confident in everything? And then the stuff that I don't know, he's going to tell me. Why? Because he be giving them cheat codes. And I'm like, well, why do it the hard way when we got cheat codes? You know what I mean? It's like, make this make sense. So, of course, I'm going with the cheat codes. And not only do I get the cheat codes, I know that he doesn't have malicious intent behind it. I know that everything that he's doing is for my good, right? And then when you be like, but why though? But how we do this? But okay, so I want to be here when I'm da da da. And I think we can get there this way, right? If I do this, if I sacrifice that, if I don't, and then I pick up this kind of education, and then I start to, uh, you know, try to do stuff like this, and it's like, yo, that's a good idea. But why don't we do it like this though? And then you don't gotta be tired. You don't gotta be giving up because you're like, oh, I'm sick of this because I know how your mind works and I know what makes you stop. So why don't we do it in a way where I know you'll keep going, right? Because of the promises that he gives, right? We all know what he said. Do not grow weary while doing good, for in due season you'll reap if you faint not, right? So he's like, that's the kind of path I want to put you on. So you ain't getting tired. So you ain't out here like, F this. You know what I mean? Like in a couple years, let's do a life's journey's worth, right? Let's not be givers of uppers. Giver uppers? Don't be giving up. It's like, go, let's find something that you could do that you love to do. Excuse me. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? And he's like, what you want to do? And I'm like, well, I like helping people. I'm kind of good at that. But I also want some money and stuff. And oh, I want this house, right? So that I could have a 12-seater dining room table in the dining room. Ooh, and I want it to look like a castle, kind of. You know, So I'm getting all these thoughts out. I'm saying all these things that I want to have and that I want to do. And he's like, all right, let's start this journey. You know what? And then, like, if you be getting stuck, turn to me, ask me a question. I'll always give you a way of escape. Is a promise that he put in his word. Google that so you can find where it is. I don't know the numbers no more, but I know what's in there. And I can find it when I need to reiterate it and make it, like, okay, he really did say it like that. And he's like, but I'm gonna need you to be of good courage, right? Because this world's still gonna be worlding, right? You're not exempt from none of the hard work. Actually, I'm about to throw you, I'm about to throw you all the knives. I'm about to throw you all the knives. And I'm about to put you in that lion's den, right? And then he broke down to me about the lion's den. And I was like, ah, so it still wasn't a problem, right? Let me go to that story real quick so I can let you know what it is. Daniel in the lion's den, right? And this is complete paraphrase, complete from my point of view, complete. Like, look it up so you know exactly what happened, right? But this is how he made it make sense to me. So, it's always haters wherever you go, right? We don't escape that. Because he said this world's still gonna be worlding, right? But I got you though, okay? Because I'm never gonna put nothing that's too much for you on your shoulders. But guess what? I'm gonna push you to them limits. You gonna feel that fire. but you're not going to get burned, right? You are going to go through the fire. That's a promise because I have to, because there's no other ways to make a diamond without pressure, right? And in my eyes, you're my diamond, right? So here we go. Daniel, right? He was in this kingdom. There was a king. There was haters all around. People always, I don't even like him. I don't even know what the king see in him. I don't know why they, blah, blah, blah. Because the king really liked Daniel. Um, and then the king is like, got pressured to make this rule, right? Because there's manipulative people in his army, right? Or in his, you know what I'm saying? So then there's like, okay, because they knew something about this man. So they wanted the king to put something in place because they knew this man was still going to do what he was going to do. So they wanted to catch him up, right? People go way back in time to set you up for something that's about to happen. You know what I'm saying? You have to keep an understanding of a mindset of a person that's a hater, right? They don't just like, I'm going to hate you today. No, they're going to hate you from 1963 and they're going to do something in 1974 so that in 1983, gotcha, right? Is what they're thinking, right? So that's how that kind of got set up to where the king was like making this decree that, okay, you're only going to worship me, blah, blah, blah. But they knew every morning, every day, every blah, 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 Daniel was going to be praising his Lord. He's going to be worshiping his Lord, and he's going to be doing this, right? And they're like, all right, that's how we're going to get that, whatever kind of choice words you want to put in there. Okay, I'm trying to just keep it universal right now. So they go ahead and they set this gentleman up. Okay, starting from way back here. Let's make pressure the king to put a decree in place like this because we know he's gonna still be doing that, right? Because I don't like him. Why? Because the king like him. So you don't like him because somebody else likes him? I'm gonna need you to get some business, right? There's so many other people in this kingdom, you know, do better, and maybe, the king will like you like that too. Like, come on, y'all. Mm, but a hater needs to work. They need their jobs. Their mindsets are not evolved enough to understand that, yo, I could be like that too if I do these things. And it's genuine, right? They forget the genuine part. They're really caught up in the fake if you understand how a hater is. Because if they were genuine, they wouldn't be haters because they would have stuff to do for themselves, right? Okay, so let's get off that. Um, so he's there doing his thing, Daniel, praising his Lord, because ain't nobody gonna stop him from praising his Lord. You know what that guy's done been there? Do you know where he started from? Do you know how he got favor with the king in the first place? Exactly. So what I'm gonna stop where my blessings are coming from? Why would I do that? That is ridiculous. Because if the Lord brought me here and he gave me favor, the favor is not, I'm not loyal to where I am right now because they put me in that position. I am respectful right now because I got the opportunity to be in that position. But I'm loyal to the one who got me where I am. And the ones that really have a relationship with him, that is their heart's message, like across the board. Excuse me. So he has this favor with him, right? And then one day these haters is walking down the street and they're like, yo, look at him, we got him, right? And then they went back and they tell the king, ooh, king, guess what? Guess who we saw doing what? Yo, man's, he was praising somebody else. And you had said, don't be doing that. And he was doing it. And the king was taken aback, like, what? Really? Because he already knew, right? I'm sure. But as close as they were with the favor that Daniel had, I'm sure Daniel had put a little message in his ear every now and then, because it's not our job to convince nobody of nothing. It's our job just to spread the message in the moment. You know what I'm saying? They could have been walking down the street and be like, you know what? Hmm, look at that. It's a dollar. Somebody lost it, but we gained it. Man, the Lord just be blessing me. Maybe he just put it there for me because he knew I wanted that apple over there. You know what I'm saying? He knew I wanted to go fill up I'm about to say fridge, but I don't even know if they had a fridge back then or if it was like, whatever. But he was like, the Lord provides. And then he on his merry way with his king friend, just, little stuff like that. And when you say little stuff like that and you don't pressure it one way or another, people get to think for themselves and have their own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So it's not our job to convince nobody of nothing, to argue with nobody. Hey, yo, it's whatever you want it to be. But I know what I think and I know what I believe. Do you? Because what you do, that's not none of my business. Because I don't have any consequences or rewards for the way you live your life, only for mine. So I don't really give, or let's say, I don't really care that much. Okay? So they tell on him. The king is like, yo, come on now. Why didn't you close the windows when you was doing that? I'm sure. I'm sure that's kind of how it went, right? He's like, why are you making me have to do this? I don't want to do this. I like you. I don't want to put you in no lion's den. I don't want to put you in no harm's way. Use my G, yo. Right? So I'm sure, he was like looking at him like, all right, I mean, come on. So now I got to do this because if I don't, then they're going to think I'm weak. You know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead and throw him in there. You know what I'm saying? And that last little look that the king gave him, he was like, yo, you meant something to me. That bro moment real quick. And he's in there like, and Daniel, I'm sure, was playing the role, right? I'm sure Daniel was playing the role with his face. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yeah, okay. Because why? Because we are humble, right? We don't have our egos like that. um where it's like, oh, you gonna put me in there, I bet I'll be rescued. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that kind of mentality. We just know what you might not know, and they're like, cool, you gonna put me in there, all right, bet. What's my consequence, first of all, and then I'm sure when he was like, I'm gonna throw you in the lion's den, everybody on the outside is like, how are you supposed to survive a lion, right? How are you supposed to do that? He ain't coming out of there not alive, right? So then I'm sure his face was like, I mean, if, do what you got to do. I understand, right? Knowing in his mind, he like, probably a little smirk in the corner of his mouth, right? Because what they don't know, because he's not from there, so they don't know his full background and what he went to get to that through. I'm sorry, what he went through to get to that point, or how he was raised in order to do, you know, everything, right? And I want to fact check real quick. Um, but they don't know him like they think they know him. All they know is what he shows them and then what they see. Because sometimes you can show somebody something and that's not what they see at all. So it's up to you to be making up your own mind, right? And I just want to see, um, just to make sure. Yep, King David. Okay. Um, I knew it. Okay. Because like I said, I know the stories. I just all the details because of how he interpreted to me, it made sense to look at it a different way. So he's going down the little lion's den, right? The lions are in there, but they don't know that he's King David's son, right? And they don't know what he used to do, what his dad used to do, because the father teaches their son, right? So Daniel grew up as King David grew up. And remember, David is David of David and Goliath, right? So David used to work out in the land and he protected the sheep from, the lions and the wolves and the blah blah blahs, right? So he knew all the strategies. He knew, okay, if I do this, this works. Okay, if I do this, that might not work, you know. And if, in order to keep them both safe and just to veer them off, this is how we're supposed to do stuff, right? And this is the father going through it, right? And then a father raises his son in his footsteps, right? Because that's the only man he knows how to be. So David taught Daniel how to care for the sheep when he was a young boy. So Daniel already had experience with dealing with lions. And I know it looked funny to some of us when we see these people out here who can go up to a lion and just kind of rap with them and not get ate up, just to put it in layman's terms. And, look like they even having fun with it, or. So Daniel already knew how to go in there and do what needed to be done. He already came equipped, fully equipped for what he needed for his journey, right? King didn't know that. King was sad when he closed them doors. Daniel was, do what you have to do. Not only because he already knew that this is not trouble for me, even though it looks like it to everybody else, but because he wanted his friend to keep face, right? Because he had respect for him. Now, was he going to stop serving his God? Not never. Not never. But I'm going to have respect for you because this is your kingdom. This is your, you know what I'm saying? I'm your friend. So I'm going to do what's best for both of us if I can. So that means me staying humble. You're not going to know what's going to happen when these doors close. I know you're going to be sad for a second, but it's okay. In Daniel's mind, he already knew. So Daniel, and this is hearsay. Okay, no objection needed. It's my hearsay. Daniel goes in the lion's den. They close the doors. The king is sad. He's like, yo, that's my guy, you know. And I'm sure Daniel was like, "Ah, Lord, this is my punishment? Really? Something that I do since I was a boy, Lord." Probably have fun with the lions. Got to cuddle up and play with them. You know what I'm saying? Might have been a little noise going on. So everybody on the outside who was standing around like, is he getting ate up? Can you hear that? Oh my goodness. He screamed, I think. Ooh, the lions is roaring. But they down there having a good old time. Right? Right? They down there just doing their thing. Probably got some good sleep too, 'cause they kind of fluffy. If you got a little pet or a cat or something, nice to cuddle up with. Here comes the morning. 'Cause when people think you in trouble, they be listening and they be standing around and they be waiting. And they want to see. They want to see, you know. So there's probably a group, that had formed and said Daniel went in the lion's den. And they sitting there like, oh, you know what I mean? So there you go. You don't know what's going on. You're just an outlooker, somebody standing around. But remember, God says, I'll never put more on you than you can bear. Now, any other person that might have had to go in there, deuces to you. But Daniel knew what he was doing, and the Lord had that promise that I'll never put more on you than you can bear. Don't care about what people think or say. Focus on me. We gonna do this together. I'm gonna give you the cheat codes because I see your life from the end to the beginning. I created your life from the end to the beginning, and now we walking through. So, morning comes. The doors open. Out walks Daniel, unscathed. unharmed, uneaten up, unbattered and bruised. Probably looked real restful, or like, like, ooh, I felt good this morning. And the king automatically thinks, your God came in there and rescued you. Did he send angels to protect you? Did he, what, I mean, how did they not eat you? Like, what happened? And from someone who is, have the same namesake as, myself and he, I take it upon myself to believe that maybe the first words that came out of Daniel's mouth were just, glory be to God. Why? Because we humble. Because our egos don't, they don't take flight like that, right? And I say all that to say this. The Lord already knows the battles that you're going to face. He already knows your life from the end to the beginning. And he said that he would always make a way of escape and that he would never put more on you than you can bear. And nobody knows exactly what you know or ever will. So to outsiders, they always have the perspective of their point of view, right? They have their point of view based on how they were raised and what they've gone through in their life, but they don't know yours. Even though they can try and say, oh, well, I know you because you're acting like this, and that must mean this. But it's still hearsay, and it's still a thought or a perspective, but it's not the truth. It's an opinion of what might be. And the king was like, we gonna praise his God. Let me make that decree. If he can let you go in there and come out unharmed, oh my goodness, your God deserves to be praised. Right? And that's how we give it back to him. Because all glory be to God. Even though that may have started however many years ago it started with his father, David, King David, the David of David and Goliath. He prepares you for the journey ahead. But if you don't know him, you don't know the cheat codes, and you don't know why you would want to be in cahoots with him. You don't know how amazing that journey can be, because it's going to be hard for those who are with him and for those who are without him. But with him, during those hard times, you can have peace. Who don't want that? If we still gonna have to go through this life, if we still gonna have to be in a struggle mode for some time, if there's still gonna be stuff coming to all of us, right? We ain't no better than nobody else. We actually will have a little more pressure put on us because we can take it. And therefore our character, if we let it happen and we go through it and we don't give up early, or we don't check out of here early, there can be great reward in the struggle. Kingdoms can be changed because of what the Lord already knew about you. But if you don't know to go to him and be like, yo, what do you think today is? Or what should we do now? Or, because he says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and he will direct thy paths. You understand? Lead not into your own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him. Right? Because he's on your side. You can be in cahoots with him, and you can start at any time. That's your choice. And again, like I said, it's not my job to persuade you one way or another. It's in a moment when he tells me to speak, I speak. And then I go about my business. Why? Because I have no consequence or no reward based on how you live your life. Right? That's all you, or that's all me. And I don't know anyone anything but to love him. And then I keep it pushing. It kind of takes me to the next thing that I wanted to talk about that I woke up thinking about. And it's like, don't take on everybody's crisis when it doesn't immediately ref- have a consequence or a reward for you. You don't have to take on everybody's problems, but be passionate about those things that you are really passionate about. You know what I mean? Let's take, for example, the LGBTQ LGBTQ community. You guys, I don't know about all that. I don't know all the acronyms. I don't know all the what is what, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't pay it too much attention because that's not my lane, right? Um, I like men. Men is my thing. I like the guns in their hands and their gray sweatpants. I mean, let's be real. Okay. Or them and one videos with them shorts and no shirts. I am passionate about the things that I am passionate about. Okay. So it's like, why would I take on the worries and the those consequences when they're not affecting me? And in the same regard, why would I dislike someone because of how they choose to live their life? That's silly. What you think? How they live their life is gonna rub off on you? I mean, if you wanted to in real life, that's probably what you're afraid of, other people knowing that you would prefer to live your life like that, but you don't have the confidence or the courage. So then you end up being a hater, right? When there's no need. Be real with you. So disliking someone because of a choice they make that has nothing to do with you, all right, I will lie and say I get it, but I don't. Those are people. People with hearts, people with minds, people with spirits who made a choice. That's it, y'all. All this hate that we have for certain people, or I don't like them because they do this or that. I don't like them because they look like this or that. You know what I'm saying? You mad at somebody because of choice they made? What's the real reason? What's the real? You like them too? I mean, they're beautiful. I won't give it that, right? I wish I could do my eyebrows like that. Oh, my goodness, speaking of eyebrows, Vegas is not the place to find them. Okay. Side note, I was highly disappointed. Um, but it's like we gotta stop focusing on the wrong thing. You know what I mean? I hope that they come to my channel. I hope that they come to my things. You know what I mean? It's a peaceful journey, and everybody needs to know that they're loved and that they matter. That's just a given of what, you know what I mean? It's like, I invite all. I invite short people, right? I invite tall people. I invite melanated people. I invite unmelanated people. I invite girls. I invite boys. I invite giants, because I have two. Mhm. Um, well, I'm only 5'4", so there's a lot of people that can be considered giants to me. But I mean, come on. And you know how much peace it is when you leave people alone and focus on you, and then just be like you for your life, and not be fake and not hide behind something, or act like you hate something when you really want to be a part of it. You know how much peace it is to be real? Hmm. I'm gonna leave that right there. We can unpack more later. But the point is, there's cheat codes to doing this life. And if you don't know the right source to go to for them, if whoever you're praying to, or whoever you're in cahoots with, externally from you, um, that is unseen, let's put it that way, because there's a lot of people in high places and powerful places that are seen, but they are still human, right there with you. If you're not going to a higher source, no matter who that might be for you or what you might call it, if you're not getting cheat codes, if they don't hear you when you cry out, or when you say, oh my goodness, I have a problem with this, I need some help, and you're calling on that name and your help never comes, why are you calling on that name? Because when I call on that name, my help comes. And I look to the hills from which cometh my help. My help comes from the Lord, right? And He puts those places, those situations, those things that I need, those resources in place for me to be able to take hold of, right? Or He'll lead me and show me where to go or what I need to do in order to get them to move forward and not be stuck. We'll get into, my background of, stuff that I had to overcome at another time. But what I'm saying is, cheat codes, they matter. So I lived my life cheating. And He said it's up for grabs. If you want it, it's right here. Yeah, I mean, it's right here in your face. And if you don't know that that's to be true, He said, ask me, and I will show you great and mighty things which thou knowest not. He said, I'm a God that hears you. And I talk back. And He hears you and He talks back. I can attest to that. I can say from experience on my 22, 23-year journey about that is what I've seen. He's never forsaken me. He never left me hanging. He always gave me a way of escape. He put resources there when I needed them. And when I called His name, He showed up. It's that simple. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think you might be disqualified because of. He don't disqualify you like that. He loves you more than you know. Because even when I did not know, right? There was a time I did not know how much He loved me before I even started messing up. He was like, yo, you all right now because you're a kid. I know where your life is about to take you, and I know the things you're about to do, right? But I want to show you me now, so you know that My word is true when it says that I first loved you. I'm sorry, when I first loved you. You know what I mean? He wants you to know those things are true. So why? So he shows up before you even get on that road good. Or he'll show up while you're on that road. And then you'll be able to reflect back and be like, yo, I remember when. He gives you that anchor, that undeniable anchor that says, I'm really here. I know you don't see me physically, but if you could see me physically, then you wouldn't be able to see me eternally. And all these other generations that are coming before I come back, any of the other generations that are coming wouldn't get to see me either. So I had to be absent from this body so that I can be eternally everywhere with you, right? So he left the Holy Spirit here on this earth with us, and him and the Father are in heaven, right? So that's why we can feel his presence here. But if he was just physically here, he would be all intact, and we wouldn't have that. You see what I'm saying? Because before that, the Spirit would fall on you, right? And after he came, the Spirit is now in you. But while he was here, I don't know what they were doing. So I know that it's better that he came for, the short while he was able to be here. And then he went back so that he could spread everything to us and break that veil of there being a separation and only it dropped on some and at some time, you know, and give us more grace because when they used to go in that temple back in the day, when they were supposed to be high priest and they wasn't all the way right, they didn't come back out standing. You feel me? If you don't, go read the story. It's there. So that's that. And you make the choice. I ain't making no choice for you. You know what else I gotta do? I can't persuade you like that. I can show you a little bit, but you're gonna find out for yourself, or you're gonna be stuck messing with me. Because I don't got the time and it's not my issue. But I'll tell you if you ask. And I'll do these little kind of things right here. But it's a journey of one. This life is a journey of one, no matter who else is around you. You gotta do it for you, whichever way that leads you, right? But all I know is I wouldn't want to do it without him because either way, I'm gonna have those consequences. Either way, I'm gonna have pressures coming up against me. Either way, there's gonna be difficult times. Yeah, I mean, it's just how do I want to get through them difficult times? Would I rather do it in peace or would I rather do it in a struggle with no way out? That's just what it comes down to. If like, let's be real, let's leave all that fluffy. Oh, but the Lord, yeah, let's leave it. Let's just be real. Let's just say what it is. Let's call a zebra, because a zebra is a zebra, and we could leave all that fluff. It is what it is, and you get to decide. And that's why you become a better you is for you. You know what I'm saying? And you understand like what's so powerful about my program is I reintroduce you to you so that you can be your number one fan. So that you have an understanding on what you would like and how you would like to do it and what's going to go on with this or that. You know what I mean? It's not something that anybody else is going to have to do for you. Give me 1 second. I got to turn this off before it interrupts. And it's like, what do I want you to know yourself enough to not let the outside voices matter. Take all good advice into consideration. Consideration, excuse me. But you make that final decision about you, and you don't choose someone else over you. Now, how you do that though? If you're sitting there and you're like, you know what, today I'm gonna go see, uh, this is a fictitious title. It's not real. I want to go see uh, The Total Gym Wall. That's the name of a movie, right? I heard it's about to be fire. And I am excited about it. And then you're sitting there, and here comes Jolly Jill, right? Made up name again. And you're talking to Jolly Jill, and you're like, yeah, I'm about to go see the Total Gym Wall or the Wall of the Total Gym, whatever I just said. And she's like, you really want to go see that? And you're like, well, yeah, I think it's gonna be fire because, and you're naming all the things that you like about what it might be about, right? And then she's like, I guess if you want to see that, but that sounds dumb to me because, who want to do that? And it's not real. And you blah, 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 right? And you hear that kind of voice happening and that kind of all that stuff there, right? It's like you start, oh, well, maybe, I guess it wouldn't be that good because, I mean, when you say it like that, I guess, yeah, I'm probably not going to go see it. I mean, what are you about to go see? And you ask her, and she's like, oh, I'm not going to see nothing. And you like, but I really wanted to go to a movie today. I just was in the mood, and well, there's nothing good out now, so why would you go to the movies and there's nothing out that's good? That's just a waste of money and blah blah blah, right? Because all of the time when they're saying this, all this makes sense. Yeah, it is a waste of money if there ain't nothing to see, and I go and spend my money and then it's not good. But 4 seconds earlier, you was gung ho about it. You was like, yo, I'm about to have the time of my life. And here comes somebody giving you their opinion, and now you're curving your decision. That's what I mean when I say, you know, choosing someone else over yourself. Because even after they leave, let's say she's like, all right, well, I gotta go now, you know, and they leave, you could feel bad about it and be like, well, yeah, she said this, so I guess I'm not gonna go. You know what I'm saying? Or you have the choice of, well, I'm still gonna go. But it's harder to make that choice and choose yourself after you've heard them and you've said with your mouth, you right, it don't sound like nothing is good, huh? So I guess because now your mind is doubting. But what you have to doubt for? Because the conversation could have went like this. You walking along, you're like, man, I'm about to go see the Total Gym walls or the walls of the Total Gym, whatever the movie title was. I said, here comes Jolly Jill. Jill's like, hey, yo, what's up? And you like, man, I'm about to go see this movie. I heard it was fire. And I think it's gonna be fire. You know what I'm saying? The way it looks like it's set up, it's good. And then she's like, oh, there ain't gonna be nothing good about that. You could have right then said, yo, all right, cool. And then start talking about something else because you don't want to hear the negativity because you already made up in your mind this is what's about to be. And you could have started a whole nother conversation because no need to doubt yourself. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Because again, people don't know you. They don't really know what you like. They know what you see or I'm sorry, what you showed them that you might like. And sometimes people don't have your best interest at heart. You remember the little example I gave from somebody setting somebody up from 1973 so that in 1983 they could be like, I got you. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes when people come at you with those negative things, it's because they don't want you to do nothing that they can't do. Point blank and period. Sometimes that is the motive. Because maybe they wanted to go see the movie before they got to you, and they was like, oh, I don't have enough. Man, that movie's gonna be stupid anyway. Trying to convince themselves to make themselves feel better. So then when they get to you, they're like, it ain't nothing. It ain't that good. You about to waste your money. And then you like, oh, you right. I probably am. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna do that. You see what I'm saying? So you never know anyone's intentions truly. So always take good advice into consideration. Leave the stuff that don't matter or that don't agree with what you agree with by the wayside and know that it's okay to do that. and then do you and what makes you happy. Because maybe if you go see that movie, you'll not only be inspired, but it might actually be good. But you'll never know if you don't choose you. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I've been talking a long time. I think we had a good time. And if you did come back, come back, come have another good time with me. So I thought about it, and I'm not going to be bringing over the other videos, or I'm sorry, the other podcast pieces from my old podcast. If you want to see them, I'm going to leave it up. I'm not going to take it down, but I'm not going to bring those over here. We're just going to start and keep moving forward. Um, because I went back and listened to them, and I was like, all right. And then also, I had to take a couple weeks off because I was preparing for the group that I'm starting, doing my first ever online live Futures Club life transformation course. So if you want to get involved with that, you can go to the website and you can look at everything, get signed up. There's prerequisite things in there, and there's more information on the website. So make your choice. And if you want to kick it with me, kick it with me. This don't cost you nothing. I can't charge y'all nothing because I know how inconsistent I am. So so this will be what it'll be. And if I put up things like, okay, there's a donation thing or something, or monetize it or whatever, then that'll be the way I go. But I don't, want you to come out of pocket just because you want to hear my voice and be with me and take a little time and talk to me. Yeah, I think this is just kind of like for my benefit, and then if you enjoy it, listen. Um, but I like to do this. There's so much inside that I need to start getting outside of me because it's just building up. So that's where this is my outlet. And if you enjoy it, stick with me. It's some more of this. If you have questions or something you want me to talk about or answer, go ahead and hit me up in wherever you can find me. Because I don't know all the places, but I look in all the places that I have. So just hit me up somewhere. Um, if you're on Instagram, Facebook, display. Where else am I? Oh, fan base. Or gosh, I don't know. Wherever. Queen J Danny. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Have a good day, everyone. And I hope my voice wasn't too deep that you could not focus. I can't help that. I take these in the morning on Wednesday morning and then I put it out in the afternoon. And I will, and again, I don't really edit, so what I give is what you get. Take it or leave it. But I mean, let's just be real. Don't nobody want to be doing all that extra work, and this is how I talk, so why am I do something different? All right, so I will talk to you all soon.
As always, thank you for joining us again for another episode. We hope you enjoyed yourself, but the best way to know is if you leave a comment or you send me a message and you actually let me know. If you have any questions, I would love to be able to answer those on the next episode, so go ahead and leave me that as well. But until next time, just know you are worth it to be wherever you want to be.